Hello, welcome to Now, y'all. I'm Jane, and I would love to share with you all something that is so loud for me to share now that it won't stop looping. So I feel like it must be the right time to share this information. So let whatever I say land with a grain of salt. Take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, that's cool too. Um, but I want to share something in the realm of how energy works and why this is so important right now. Um, so I'm going to share this first. So tomorrow night on the third Tuesdays of the month, I'm having a live online event and it's called Quantum Conversations. So I'm going to share a transmission of what's happening in the quantum now. And then there's going to be a lot of space for questions and response. I'm going to lead an energy clearing experience and a meditation as well. So if you're a part of the Eternal Now Patreon community, it's free. Hey! If you're part of the Wild Sanctuary Wholehearted community, it's free for you too. If not, I'm just asking for a minimal donation to say thanks, a contribution. So please join that if you're remotely interested. You can find more information on janetheguide.com. So check this. I love everything energy and I love how things work and how so many people I feel like know some of this, but the daily application of this knowledge I think gets just put on a shelf. And that's what I want to remind us all about today. So I have this statement and it's completely contradictory to a statement that we've been taught. We've been taught seeing is believing, right? And I understand why that's a saying. I do. And I don't align with it. It doesn't feel like truth to me because from my downloads and my studies and all the things, we have to believe it before we can see it. So instead of the statement being seeing to believe, it's believe to see. So, why is this important right now? Well, because the reality is getting nuts out there, y'all. We are coming up into the time of political stuff and things. And so, all of the messaging that we're receiving is becoming just more intense. It's not even mudslinging so much as it is like, I mean, maybe it is mudslinging, but it doesn't feel like mudslinging anymore. It just feels like the whole political game is changing in a way that feels like a dog and pony show. And so, if that's all that we're seeing, then we tend to believe it as truth. And when we believe it as a truth, then we will continue to see it outside of ourselves. The media has anything on any media has such an impact on the reality that we experience. Anything that we are shown, if we believe it to be true, it doesn't just like disappear. That belief then gets regenerated because it's created these neural pathways, a feeling in our emotional body, sometimes even in our physical body, so much so that we will continue to replay it out and see it outside of ourselves in a myriad of ways. We can see that if the example here, if you read and watch a lot of murder mysteries, then you may find that every time you turn on the news or any other media outlet, that you see all these things about murders, right? Or unsolved crimes or whatever. Now, if you are reading and only looking at information about total fantasy, right? Like fairies and leprechauns and elves and all those things, you are more likely to actually have an experience with those aspects of life, which sounds kind of cool, I think. So, we are so this is a really pivotal time for this message, y'all. Please let this just like whatever your beliefs are, my invitation and deepest request is that you allow what I'm about to share just land and try it on as a possibility and maybe even try on some of the offerings that I'm going to share. Um, just for funsies, maybe. I'd appreciate it. So before we experience something, there is an energy behind it. There is a belief before we can see it. Energy precedes matter. When we look at energy and the way it moves through what we would call space and time, it is just that. It is an unseen force. It could be a temperature, an emotion, a light wave. It could be a myriad of things. And until it comes into some type of intentional repetitive patterning, we'll say through water, sound through water creates cymatics that over time, I'll say time, um, creates a shape, it creates a matter, it creates a thing. And even in, what is it? The Bible said something about like God and the word started all the things. It's kind of like that. So energy is going to come before a matter, a thing, okay? So if I have a belief that comes from wherever, it could come from my imagination, it could come from programming, it could come from my culture, it could come from my parental upbringing, whatever it is. But if I have a belief, I will live a life, I will have a life in form that reflects that belief big. It's so important to know this now because a lot of the things that we're seeing aren't necessarily real. They're not necessarily true. A lot of the images that we see in videos, on the news, in the media are they're not all, but many of them are doctored. They are altered. They're artificial intelligence. It's AI imagery in so many ways. And when we see certain images, we have this visceral response. We're like, whoa, that's real. It can't be real. And oh no, this happened. And we create all of this experience in our body. So then everything that we energetically then output is going to be a vibrational match to that image, which will then create more of that image outside of ourself. For example, I see something on the news and we'll say somebody got robbed and they got hurt. And I see that, maybe they show real footage of it. And so I see that my brain sees that my body then feels like it's happening, feels like I'm there. I'm more than a witness in neutrality. I'm a witness in experiencing it as well. So that means that like I'm going to have a cortisol experience, an adrenal experience, a hormonal experience. My physical body might tense up. I might start to perspire. My heart rate might increase, my blood pressure. It might bring up memories or fears. So I'm going to have all this stuff occur because I just watched a video of a robbery happening. So then I have all this. If I don't have the tools and resources to clear that, which a lot of people don't, let's be honest. If I don't have the resources to clear that and then I go out on the street, I am emanating that. It's like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. I'm emanating out this fear and this wobble and these chaotic energies that aren't in a harmonious, aligned pattern. That means then, because that is what I am believing, it's what I be living, then I will start to see reflections of all of that outside of myself. So I might see people get robbed. I might see things that create more fear. I might see other people in fear. I might see and experience all these things to keep activating this. And so then I'm in this vortex and this loop of an experience that is not fun for human. It's not. And we have so much perpetuated this type of reality that It's really important now for what's coming. This is why you want to join quantum conversations, because I want to talk about like what's coming in the field. But what's coming, I feel it's a really important time to be really autonomous with what my belief is so that I can stay in alignment. Stay in alignment with my heart, stay in alignment with this earth, and stay in alignment with Great Spirit, whatever you call Great Spirit to be. The God, the goddess, the void, the universe, the whatever. I call it the nameless wonder. That to stay in harmonic alignment with those three aspects, if you will, even though it's all one, is going to allow me to keep my belief of truth in me, as me, moving through me and emanating out of me. So then the reality that I experience will be reflective of, I'll call it truth. It's still going to be things that create fear. There's still going to be things that create hardship because we're human. We're here to experience duality. But if my belief can get thrown out and hijacked by anything else, then the reality that I am going to then live in will be a reality that was programmed by someone else, typically with an ulterior motive. If that's your jam, go for it. It's not my jam, and I don't think it's everybody's jam, and that's why I'm on here sharing this. So, we must believe to see. The way our pineal gland works is that it emits a luminous plasma wave. So we receive light waves that bounce and refract off of stuff and things, right? And that's how we see. Light is reflecting off of this, and it's telling me that there's black and there's blues and there's whites and it's glass and it's all these things based on identifying labels that I was taught these colors to be named and this to be glass and this shape to be a rectangle, blah, 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 blah. But here's what's happening. Sunlight comes in, bounces off, goes into my eyeballs, translates light to electrical currents that go into my noggin, my brain, for my brain to say, that is a rectangle, that is an image, that is black, that is white, those are blues. And so instantly my brain says, that's what it is. As just as instantaneously as that occurs, my third eye, my pineal gland, is emanating out a luminous plasma wave in more colors than we can visibly see. Humans typically see the Roy G. Biv rainbow spectrum of light, and we know that there's all other spectrums of light that is beyond our human eyes. Our pineal gland can emit more plasma waves in different light frequencies than our human eyes can register. I'll get to that. Maybe I'll save that one for quantum conversations because that's pretty cool. I'm going to go more into detail about that because that's just really dope. And that's like a whole other reality that we could be experiencing. But we got to open our eyes and our eye to see that. Anyway, so this third eye that's emanating out this luminous plasma wave is like the projector screen or the projector with the images, and the world around us is the screen. So we are in every now moment creating the reality based on a belief that's typically fed from outside stimuli. We have a choice to use our internal stimuli, our heart, our imagination, our spirit, our curiosity, all these things, to start to luminesce a reality that we then get to experience. The belief, the way I be living, will affect what images come out of my third eye and what reality is that I would experience. This is a key code to evolution for reals. I find it really fascinating and it's so exciting. And I've felt this for so long and I've like been aware of this for so long. And I love that it's now coming out for the collective to like bear witness to. I'm not saying I'm the first one to say it, but I'm the first one to say it the way I'm gonna say it. So anyway, thanks for listening. So the 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 point of this is to, one, be very mindful of the data that you are receiving. If the data that you are taking in, the media that you're choosing to ingest through your eyes, which then tells your brain, which then tells your body, it's just like eating it, gobble, gobble, gobble. So whatever it is that you're ingesting, just be mindful of it. Is it creating your human experience to be unhealthy? Is it creating dis-ease in you? If it is, then you will be setting yourself up to experience dis-ease in your physical body, your mental body, and your emotional body. Not even talking about like traumas and programs and anything previous to this now that's happened. Like, not even talking about that. Just this now stuff. So be mindful about whatever it is you're ingesting. Also, I would deeply request and invite everyone to look at your own beliefs. And if your beliefs feel like a full on, this is truth with a capital T, like a belief like no other, like I have a belief and a faith that the sun will rise tomorrow. Belief and faith are not the same, however, they can work really beautifully together. If your belief feels like faith, yes. If your belief feels like rules, like it has to be this way, there's no other option, then your belief has been something that was indoctrinated into you by someone or something else. Let that one land. Because the truth in general always has more than one side. Because the truth of everything is that it is. So if the truth of good is that this is good, then the truth of good is also bad. Because to be good, you have to have bad. Does that make sense? To have up, you have to have down. So if your belief is that up is the only way, and that if anyone isn't on the up, then they're wrong, then your belief is rigid and it's not, it's not of the whole heart. The whole heart is going to see that everything just is. This is where I'm like, I might challenge your belief right now, y'all. Okay. But everything just is. When we can move beyond the judgment and the righting and wronging and a very dogmatic, single-minded belief system, when we can move beyond that, we're moving into what I call the truth of love, of unconditional love, of the is that all it is, the is that is. And love can express itself in all ways. This is another topic for another day. And if your belief system is single-minded and small and rigid, then one, your experience will reflect that. Your human experience will be small. It will not be varied. It will not be robust. It will not be delicious as it could be. There won't be the variety of deliciousness, right? You won't get all the salty and the sweet and the sour and the pungent. You won't. You'll just get this one flavor of life. And there's nothing wrong with any of this. If this is resonating, then this is for you. If you're like, I love my one flavor of life, my one flavor of life is right and it's perfect, then good, fantastic. And if it isn't, then this is for you. So when we can move through the belief system of whatever I believe in to also encompass that all other beliefs are just fine as well. Then, if that is my reality, if that is my true way of being, that I have my belief, I have my truths, they feel good to me, and everyone else has theirs, and that is also fine. That is also good in my heart. Then I have no cortisol reaction. I have no trauma response. I have no fight, flight, freeze, fawn, fuck, whatever. I don't know. Those things, none of those get activated because I am living in full on acceptance. When I'm living in full on acceptance, then everything in me is so clear, then I am more connected with peace. If I'm more connected with peace, then my connection to Pachamama to me feels better. My connection to Great Spirit feels much better because I can feel it so much more. And when I need a direction or a way a support in finding my North Star, my heart will like point me in those directions. And I'm living in this belief. The point of this is that if I am that, then everything outside of myself will reflect that. So that means that my reality is now peaceful. It's varied, it's robust, it's delicious, it's delightful. Who knows what's going to happen today? I don't even know. I may just take a bunch of naps, or I may go find a turkey on a hike, which that has happened. Like, whatever. And it's all based on my way of being, the way I be living. And the way I be living is based on my belief. But if my belief has been commandeered by the media and by the stories and by the this team is right and this team is wrong and divide and fight and divide and fight and divide and fight, then I'm going to have this internal battle with myself, with my human self and my higher self, or my ego self and my healed self, or whatever parts of ourselves that we are, our inner child and our elder self. Then there will be discord. There won't be harmony. And then the world outside of me is that. Oh, and then I am that. And so you see how one feeds the other. So my deepest invitation is to check your belief. See if you can open up to the possibility that everything outside of you isn't even real, just a projection of your own mind, and that the collective is projecting out of the collective mind some really weird stuff. Like, really, we are co-creating wars, we're co-creating ecocide, we're co-creating harm to the earth, to animals, to humans, to adult humans, to children humans, to elders. Like, we are creating so much harm. That's what the collective mind is choosing to do and to see. So how would we live, right? Like, we can't live under a rock. I mean, you can totally live in a cave. I kind of want to do that for a while, but I don't really know any caves that I'd be like, I want to live in this cave. Anyway, my point. So like, how would we do this? Like, how can we live in our truth and still be in the world as we are and still be able to see things that are occurring so that we can have compassion, because that's what heals it, and that's what starts to actually shift the projection. It's this heart. The heart will always change the reality. It is the healing frequency. It is the frequency of source. It is love. So it's like, well, how do I do all that and still, how? So it depends on where you are on your path and your process. For some people, they cannot watch media. They can't watch the news. They can't, because it still elicits a response that they don't know how to alchemize and transcend. So they'll either get like stuck in fear or stuck in anger or stuck in judgment, they'll like hold on to it like a grudge. So for that person on that path, I would say maybe avoid those medias, maybe avoid those triggers that you don't have the resources yet to actually fully alchemize. Now, if you're someone else like me, I can watch it. And what I do is I can watch it in neutrality, and I can also feel a lot of compassion, which means that I may cry because I allow myself to alchemize through my tears. I may move it out through rage, but I don't hold on to the rage. You know, I may watch it and then I may go to the mountain and ask Pachamama to take the pain and suffering from me that I have taken on for others. Like whatever the process is, know where you are on your path. If you don't have the resources to ingest certain things and then fully digest it, please don't ingest it. Because if you ingest it and you can't digest it, then that's the reality. One, that you got to live more in. Two, that you're projecting. If you're projecting it, then you will be feeding the collective mind that is also choosing to project that image or like images. That's why we have the collective mind that's creating wars, you know? And so much of the things that we are shown on the news aren't real. They're not really happening. They're staged events. They're doing it for money. It's all about money and land grab. It's always been about money and land grab. It always has been. It's a topic for another now, but like it is. And so the political realm, it's all about land grab between, the constituents that are going Democrat and Republican and like, vote for me, no, vote for me. I'm old. No, you're older. No. Like it's all about the land. And then when you look at the other countries, it's all about like who can own what parts of land to then control the amount of money that then goes to their pockets. Ugh, it was such a tangent. I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, it's so much is staged. And it doesn't mean that people don't really get hurt. It doesn't mean that people really don't die. It doesn't mean that it's not happening. What it means is it's been staged. And either people have signed up to like take one for the team and be like, yeah, cool, pay my family then $1 billion and I'll die for that, like whatever. Or, they're actors and they're pretending, they act and they're like, oh, look, I'm a shooter, or look, I'm a dead person. And then they're not. But we are fed lies. But those lies we take on as a truth because our bodies don't know the difference. And then we create the truth again. We create more shootings and more of this and more of that. So, one last thing, and then I'm going to hop off. So, my another invitation is to not only just check your beliefs, know what you can handle and what you can't handle, like truly, and stick with what you can digest. If you wish you could digest more because you know you can, but you just don't have the tools, holla at your girl. I work with people one-on-one so that we can start to move through these programs so that this massive, creative, compassionate, joyful, pleasurable, like happy heart can live and be what feeds the energy behind this third eye that luminesces heaven on earth, because that's what we're here to live in and as. It's here. We just have to like create it. It's already here. So I know it sounds weird. Like, if it's already here, how do we create it? The energy is here. All the tools are here. All the resources are here. We just got to like put it together like little Legos and be like, ta-da, heaven on earth. Like we got this, y'all. We got this for reals. And I'm ready. I'm ready for it. God, it's so good right now and it can get so much better, y'all. We can do this. We can do this together. But it takes us working independently to work interdependently. It's we got to be sovereign so we can work in community. It's just how it works. Anyway, so know what you can and what you can't digest. Stick with what you can digest. If you can't digest it, not for you today, right? And every day is going to be different, y'all. Give yourself grace. There's sometimes when I can watch some like pretty horrific stuff. There's some days I can't. I'm like, nope, not today. Not for me. Can't do it. So know where you are in the now moment and give yourself what you can digest. And also give yourself joyful things to digest. What if you live in a reality where you just don't have a lot of joy, because everything around you is craptastic? Well, then imagine it. Find joy that you have a body right now. Find joy that you have a breath, even if it's expansive or if it's labored, you have a breath. If you're fortunate enough to see or hear, ooh, that's a lot of joy right there, y'all. A lot of people don't and can't. If you got teeth in your mouth and you can chew food and swallow it, you can masticate like a champ. That's joy right there, y'all. Like we have so many things that we can start to remind ourselves of so that our bodies reflect and emanate that energy, that frequency, that joy, that gratitude, that acceptance, that peace. And then we start to live it and experience it but beyond ourselves. It's like the rose-colored glasses, it's like, well, how do I choose to see the world? Well, how do I choose to see myself and life as a whole? If you're someone that's like, oh, life sucks, what if you can keep that belief that life sucks, and can you also hold a curiosity that what if it stops sucking? What would it be like? What if these wars stopped? What would life be like? What would the world feel like if we actually were in peace? And here's the thing, most of us are in peace. Excuse me. Most of us humans are so docile, loving creatures that we really are like that. But the systems that are representing us, the government and the this and the that, they're showing themselves as not peaceful. They're the ones that are waging wars and talking about guns, and you need to have them and you don't need to have them. And let me tell you all the things how you should be as a human. And like, so the systems that are representatives, they're not really representing us. They're not representing humanity. They're not representing earth. They're not representing love. They're not representing abundance. They're all representing fear and lack and judgment and stagnation and just keep things how they are. So anyway, so if we can open up our mind's eye, our imagination of our heart to just contemplate the possibilities of how good things are now, because they could lead to something better. And then what would that better be like? What would that better feel like? What would it feel like in your body? Okay. That will start to change the reality that we see because we would have opened our mind to a new belief. It's a really important time because so many people are waking up to the collective consciousness, to energy, to the quantum, to the unseen esoteric forces of life itself. The systems that represent us, that try to control us, know of the unseen forces, and they use it against us to keep us from harmonizing with ourselves, with the earth and great spirit. We are bombarded with disruptive frequencies for our eyes, for our ears, like everything, our bodies. So the belief is going to change the reality in which we see. And now is a really important time to just question everything that you see, not necessarily like, oh, this isn't real, none of it's real. You can be like that because none of it is real. It's literally all just light and bouncing electronic particles and light and sound waves. Like none of this is real. And because none of it's real, we can play with that. We can use the malleability of the unseen that everything is, and we just think that we're seeing it all. We don't see half of what's here, and half of what we're seeing isn't here anyway. So please question your beliefs, open up to all beliefs, feel what it feels like, belief and faith within you, and then play. Play in that. Play in your imagination of creating something brand spanking new, or adore what you have or what you experience or see or sense in your life that you enjoy. Adore it. Love that it's there. Love that you have trees. Love that you have plants. Love that you have water. Love that you have air. Love it. That will change the reality outside of you. And then it will change the reality on for like everybody. So this is what I wanted to share. How believing is seeing. Seeing can be believing if we don't have our own internal truth dialed. And most people don't. A lot of people don't. But we can. It's accessible. It's within us. It's within all of us. So like I said, if you'd like some guidance or support, please, like I want you to live in your truth. I want you to create a life that is majestic and powerful and just delicious. I want that for you because that's the world that I will live and play in. It's all about me. I want to live that life. I'm doing it for myself and I want you to do it as well. So if you have any questions or if you're like, yes, I want to work with her, you want to join Quantum Conversations because you don't want to invest in a private one-on-one session with me, that's fine. You can go to janetheguide.com and you can learn more about what I'm offering, ways to connect, ways to join things for free, ways to join things for just a small contribution. You can join my Eternal Now Patreon community with for as little as $10 a month, y'all, and contribute to the message that I'm bringing forth. Everybody's contribution helps me so much because I'm living in this purpose and it's a very interesting one and I have been for many years now, and everybody that contributes to this message I'm really grateful for. And I'm grateful for you anyway, whether you contribute or not through the Patreon Eternal Now community or whatever. I'm grateful for you because you're here on this earth. I'm grateful for you because you're doing the best you can. I'm grateful for you because you have your beliefs and that whatever your beliefs are, whether I enjoy them or I don't enjoy them, you are creating a more colorful reality for me to experience. And for that, I am grateful. I'm grateful for your breath because it's feeding and giving life to the trees. I'm grateful for your presence, the energy and the light that you bring here on this earth, every one of you. So thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And above all else, please remember that you're loved because you are love. So there's that. So until next time, y'all, I will see you soon. Okay, ciao. Peace.